Some players inherit winning, others build it. Devin Booker had to build it. Because when people look at greatness, they usually see the finish line, the all-star appearances, the playoff runs, the big scoring nights, the respect, but they rarely see the years before, the losing, the criticism, the frustration, the waiting. And waiting is where most people quit. Because patience sounds good, until it becomes difficult, until progress feels slow, until everyone around you starts doubting your future. That's where Devin Booker lived. Because early in his career, the wins didn't come, the praise didn't come, the respect didn't come. But he kept showing up, because mentally strong people understand something weak-minded people never do. The process works, even when the results haven't arrived yet. And that's what separated Booker. Because he never allowed temporary circumstances to define his future. He kept building, kept improving, kept believing. Because belief is easy when things are going well. The real test is believing when nothing is going your way. That's the test of mental toughness. Can you continue working when nobody notices? Can you continue improving when nobody believes? Can you continue trusting yourself when everyone else has questions? Booker did. Because confidence is not built from applause. Confidence is built from preparation. The hours nobody sees, the repetitions nobody celebrates, the discipline nobody talks about. That's where real confidence comes from. And Booker built that confidence. Because scorers must believe. Every great scorer believes, not because every shot goes in, but because they trust the work behind the shot. They trust the preparation behind the moment. And trust creates freedom. Freedom creates aggression. Aggression creates greatness. That's why Booker attacks, because he doesn't play scared. He doesn't play hesitant. He doesn't wait for permission. He trusts himself. And trust is powerful, because hesitation kills opportunity. The moment you stop trusting yourself, the game becomes difficult. The game becomes heavy. The game becomes emotional. But confident players stay free, and freedom allows creativity. That's what makes Booker dangerous. The footwork, the balance, the patience, the ability to create shots under pressure. Because elite scoring is not physical first, it's mental first. The mind creates the advantage before the body executes it. That's why great scorers remain calm, because panic destroys timing. Panic destroys rhythm. Panic destroys execution. But Booker stays composed, because composure creates clarity, and clarity creates buckets. But another part of his journey that people overlook is surviving criticism, because criticism followed him for years. People questioned whether he was a winner, questioned whether his numbers mattered, questioned whether he could lead, questioned whether he could carry a team. And criticism can become dangerous, not because criticism hurts, because criticism can distract. It can pull your attention away from growth, away from development, away from improvement. And once your focus leaves improvement, your progress slows. But Booker stayed focused, because mature competitors understand something important. You don't answer criticism with words. You answer criticism with growth. You answer criticism with development. You answer criticism by becoming undeniable. And eventually, that's exactly what happened. Because growth compounds, daily work compounds, discipline compounds. And one day, the same people who doubted you start asking how you did it. But by then, the work is already done, because greatness wasn't built overnight. It was built through patience, built through consistency, built through discipline. And that's the lesson. Not just for Devin Booker, for everybody. Because everybody wants the spotlight. But very few people are willing to endure the darkness before it arrives. Everybody wants success, but very few people are willing to stay patient long enough to earn it. And patience may be the most underrated mental skill in sports. Because patience allows development. Patience allows mastery. Patience allows greatness. And Devin Booker stayed patient. While building greatness, success creates a different type of pressure. The pressure of becoming successful, because everybody thinks pressure disappears once you make it. It doesn't. It changes. When you're unknown, people doubt you. When you're successful, people expect you, and expectations can become heavy. Because now every performance gets measured differently. Every loss gets analyzed. Every mistake gets criticized. Every weakness gets exposed. And Devin Booker experienced that shift. Because once Phoenix started winning, everything changed. The expectations changed, the spotlight changed, the pressure changed. And pressure reveals character, because anybody can be confident when nobody expects anything. The real challenge is staying confident when everyone expects everything. That requires maturity. That requires discipline. That requires emotional control, because pressure creates emotional reactions, frustration, overthinking, forcing things, trying too hard, trying to prove too much. And the moment you start forcing greatness, greatness usually disappears because greatness is built through execution, not emotion. And Booker learned that because leaders learn how to stay calm when everyone else becomes emotional. Leaders become stability, leaders become consistency, leaders become confidence, and confidence spreads. Because teammates watch leaders, they study body language, energy, composure, response to adversity, and Booker began learning how to carry that responsibility. Because carrying a franchise is different. You're not just responsible for yourself anymore. You're responsible for culture, for standards, for expectations, for belief. And belief becomes important, especially during adversity, because every organization faces difficult moments. Every team faces setbacks. Every season faces challenges. And during those moments, the team usually becomes whatever the leader becomes. If the leader panics, the team panics. If the leader quits, the team quits. If the leader stays composed, the team stays composed, and Booker continued developing that composure. Because composure under pressure creates trust, and trust creates leadership. But another lesson from his journey is understanding the difference between scoring and winning. Because young scorers often focus on numbers, points, highlights, recognition. But mature players focus on impact, the right play, the right pass, the right possession, the right decision. And that's where growth happens. When you stop asking, what helps me? And start asking, what helps us win? That's the evolution of leadership. That's the evolution of greatness. Because championships are not won by talent alone. They're won by decision-making, by sacrifice, by discipline. And Booker started evolving beyond scoring, into leadership, into accountability, into responsibility. Because growth requires expansion. The best players continuously evolve, continuously improve, continuously adapt. And adaptation is one of the most powerful mental skills in sports. Because the game changes, defenses change, expectations change, your role changes, and players who refuse to adapt eventually get past. But adaptable players survive. They grow, they expand, they stay relevant. And Booker expanded because he understood something powerful. The player who got you here may not be the player that takes you there. Growth requires becoming more disciplined, more mature, more patient, more complete. And every year, Booker became more complete. Because complete players become difficult to stop. Not because of talent alone, because of understanding. Understanding the game, understanding pressure, understanding leadership, understanding themselves. And self-awareness creates growth. Because once you understand yourself, you understand what needs improvement. You understand where you're strong. You understand where you're weak. And honest self-awareness is rare. Most people want to protect their ego. Elite people want to improve their reality. Booker chose improvement because improvement creates evolution, and evolution creates greatness. But here's the deeper lesson. The hardest part of success is not achieving it. The hardest part is carrying it, handling it, managing it, growing through it. Because success creates responsibilities, and responsibilities require discipline. That's why some talented people peak early, and others continue rising. Because disciplined people keep evolving, and evolution creates longevity. That's what Devin Booker represents. Not overnight success, not shortcuts, not instant greatness, but growth, patience, development, the willingness to keep building, even after success arrives. Because mentally strong people understand. Success is not the finish line. Success is simply the next level of responsibility. And responsibility creates growth. Growth creates leadership. Leadership creates legacy. Your mindset is your edge.